will clinch the #1 seed and only bye if they beat the Dolphins. But Miami can still be the 1 seed and clinch home field advantage if they win today and then beat the Bills next week in Week 18. Our Sal Palantonio is in Baltimore with the very latest. Good morning, Sal.
Good morning, Sam. Let's get right to the news. Miami Dolphins will be without running back Raheem Mostert. He was declared out earlier this morning. They're already without wide receiver Jalen Waddle. That means 2,212 yards of their offense are not playing in this game. Now let's take you behind the scenes a little bit. The Dolphins have been preparing for this all week long. Raheem Mostert did not practice knee and ankle injuries on Wednesday and on Thursday. He was limited on Friday. When I talked to the Dolphins yesterday, they were very skeptical, pessimistic that he would play in this game. So they have been preparing all week to be without him. Devon Achane, the rookie out of Texas A&M, will start in his place. He's got some good numbers, and the key number is 4.32 in the 40. He's got speed to go with Tyreek Hill's speed on offense. 4.29 for Tyreek Hill, as everybody knows. And the key to the Dolphins' offense all year long has been the speed and their pre-snap motion that they use on offense. Nobody in the NFL has more pre-snap motion. Nobody in the NFL has more yards off of pre-snap motion due to their speed. So Devon Achane will fit right in. And of course, the Ravens, there's the chess match of this game. The Ravens have great post-snap disguise with their defense on Mike Macdonald. And I said on the radio this week, it reminded me a little bit of Rex Ryan's defense because of their post-snap disguise and how they confuse quarterbacks. And I got a text yesterday from head coach John Harbaugh, and he said, you know, Sal, it's more, I love Rex, he said. I respect Rex, but it's more like Jim Johnson's defense in Philadelphia. Johnson, of course, late great Jim Johnson, coached under Andy Reid with John Harbaugh in Philadelphia. And I said, well, not for nothing, Coach. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the text. And I said, you know what? Good luck tomorrow. And he texted me back, going to be a tough one, but we will show up. Sam?
Yes, Al, I don't think anybody's doubting that. I am curious from your perspective, Rex, on defense. I mean, we saw what this Ravens defense did against the 49ers last week. We know the connections between Shanahan and Mike McDaniel. Do you think some of what they did last week against the Niners will work again today against this Dolphins?
Yeah, absolutely will, but it'll also be disguised. So it's not just going to be the exact same game. Like, we're not just going to blow the dust off it.
Sure.
We're going to throw you some change-ups in there that are going to set up those calls. So the great thing about Baltimore is they are so multiple. And I understand they don't want to give me credit for anything. I can understand that. But this is the best defense I've seen in years. And this Mike Macdonald guy, this young kid, is doing a tremendous job as a coordinator. Now, he's been in the pipeline for years. So this wasn't, he never just came out of college to be a D coordinator. He's been in that Ravens system for years. They're so well coached. But I want to take one specific thing that shows, we all know that the Ravens lead the league in sacks, right? But look at what they do as well. They're so well coached up front with Anthony Weaver. Look at these tips right here. And, Brew, you're going to love this thing. This is Jadeveon Clowney, who everybody could have had. By the way, the Ravens are smart. He gets a left up and gets that thing in there. Why? It mirrors the hand.
Mirror it, Rex.
It mirrors the hand. So now he is on the right side. He's going to get a right up? No. He's going to get a left hand up. That's where the passing arm comes from. He does a great job at tipping the ball here. Now, we saw this interception at the end. This is a corner blitz. Tip the ball up. You teach your D-line and your blitzers to tip the ball up. Why? They become interceptions. We saw 3 of those last week against Brock Purdy. So to me, this Raven team, the outstanding personnel, but they are fundamentally so well taught as well. That's what separates this team from all the other ones in this league. They got great coaches at every level. Chris Hute in the secondary. Hats off to them. I love watching this team play defense.
Yeah, I think we're truly going to see what Mike McDaniel is as a head coach because all of the answers are right there on film. I mean, he could name those plays that the Niners were attempting to run.
Yes.
He knows that system so well, and he knows what worked and what didn't work. And I think he could even look at it and say, this is why that didn't work, so this is what I'm going to bring to it. So he has the answers to the test. I'm looking to see how they adjust to all of that the Baltimore Ravens do, because you basically, that's your system. You took that system next level, so now you get to see what worked against it. This is a true chess match today.
I'm fascinated by this game too, Teddy, and I think hidden in that is, yes, they thumped the Niners. The Niners offense put up 430 yards on this defense last week. And yes, they got the 4 turnovers, but there were still a lot of big explosive plays, gash plays in the pass game. And I'm really interested to see what the #1 Miami offense can do versus this defense. And Mike McDaniel's got his work cut out for him, because no Jalen Waddle, no Mostert, right? Like he's hamstrung a little bit, and you better believe that Mike McDonald and this Ravens defense is going to know where Tyreek Hill is, right? I mean, because I love this secondary, but they aren't elite cover guys. There's not a single guy there that's going to run with Tyreek Hill. Oh. And if they can find a way to win this game, if Tua has a big game or Tyreek has a big game, I know the MVP conversation seems like it's all Lamar. You better believe if they win this game and have a big game, they're going to be in the front runner of that conversation next week.
To your point, all we talked about was how Brock Purdy was going to walk away with the MVP.
Yep.
He has a bad game. Lamar has a good game. Now Lamar is going to be the guy. Would that be interesting if that happened?
You know, with all this speed for the Miami Dolphins, you heard Sal Powell talking about one of the best things they do in the National Football League, and that's the pre-snap motion. The two guys that you're talking about, I talked about speed. With Mostert being out and Waddle being out, what is this offense going to look like in the pre-snap read? And what is the supporting cast other than Tyreek Hill going to give Tua in a game like this, going against the #1 defense in the National Football League? So I'm looking at the receiving core, Berrios, Anderson, Wilson for the Miami Dolphins. If you put Tyreek Hill in motion, then who is the deep field threat? Those guys, the motion that the Miami Dolphins do is a must-see today, because I'm wondering who's going to be that guy and how much would the defense be affected by that motion.
Yeah, and Randy, you talk about that motion, and nobody does it more than they do, but it doesn't time out near as well on the road as it does at home. And I think you brought that point up earlier this season, Alex, and I thought it was an amazing point, because we saw hesitation on that motion. That they don't get them out in that fast break type motion. It's different, and especially with that crowd noise in Baltimore, it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah, Sal Powell started us off by talking about by the defense and the disguise. Rex, I'm curious to see what you think here, but I thought a lot of motions took me out of my disguise. Because I wanted to be where I ended up, because this is a different level motion here that I saw when I played. So, I mean, it's moving so fast. It makes me want to just line up where I'm supposed to be, because I have to hustle there if I'm not there because of the motion, and it happens so fast.
Yeah, and there's so many checks involved with motion things. So you're right. Sometimes off of that motion, we better get in this check. But I think this team is so disciplined and so well coached. I think they'll handle it, and especially playing at home. Should be a great matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the big X factor is we haven't seen this Dolphins team without Raheem Mostert this year. This is his first game he'll be missing. We have seen him without Jalen Waddle, though, and I know it's not apples to apples, but remember that was the game that they hung 70 on the Broncos. The offense did all right without Jalen in that game.
That was Russell's fault.
Missing, but everything is Russell's fault, don't you know?